You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast. Good evening. Welcome to Pointing Pointers. I'm Ben Atkins. I'm joined by Sam Davies-Thomas, and this is episode 26. Now, Sam, it looks a lot like you've gone on a gap year to find yourself and you're in a camper van shacked up with a lover. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're right. He hopes so. He hopes you're wrong. If I'm going to go find myself, mate, I'll be searching for a very long time.
So you're at Badminton Horse Trials or Iton? Which one?
I am Badminton Horse Trials. Didn't go to Iton in the camper van yet. Badminton Horse Trials for the week, yeah. So change of discipline, but here we are.
Yeah, well, more on that in relation to some winners down at Iton in a bit. Actually, I've got a very interesting point to make there, Sam. I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear. Thanks as ever to the PPRA and Red Mills for their continued sponsorship of this podcast. Sam, you're pleased to hear you can't keep a good man down, and my leg is on the mend. I'm actually sat up.
Yeah, I was going to say you're not in bed this week. You did milk that little scratch on your shin, didn't you?
Whoa! You can't backtrack now. We all heard what you said.
You were going to go to Cheltenham, but you said you couldn't walk.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Like I really wanted to go to Cheltenham, and there was two things. One is I couldn't be bothered to explain to someone every 30 seconds what had happened, especially when it's so embarrassing.
I don't think many people would have been too bothered, to be honest.
Okay. So let's talk about Cheltenham, shall we? First, let's start with that. It came before the weekend's action, so it's a good place to kick off. Firstly, I thought it was great. Like I just sat with a non-alcoholic beer at home. I'm right on these Lucky Saints. They're great. They are brilliant. Anyway, sat with one of them at home, several of them on the sofa, plonked myself down for the entirety of the card. And it was good. It was really good. Brilliant racing. Good close finishes. Feel good results. Nice horses. Loads of people there. Loads of atmosphere. Racing TV covered it really, really well. I was just like, what a time to be alive. It was great.
Yeah, it was great evening of racing. Obviously, as you say, Racing TV, I thought they did a great job. No more so than I thought that the mention of Jonathan Neeson Memorial Hunter Chase as well, when they, talked about Jonathan, his love for hunter chasing and point to point. And so, it was good that he got recognised as well, having that race named after him. That was a real nice touch. Yeah,
absolutely. I saw they posted a few things on socials of his sort of highlight reel, Jonathan, and I didn't know him at all, and I won't pretend that I did, but you admire him from afar, and he seemed like a real character, which we love. And it's a shame that he's gone, but like you say, they covered it really well. So, what were the highlights for you, Sam? What do you want to talk about first?
I'm going to go. The most impressive performance I thought was Music Drive. Your well-touted horse for the Fox Hunters this year. I thought you were a bit mad putting that up, to be honest, due to his lack of experience. But he proved me wrong. Ran into the places at Cheltenham, and I think he is a proper horse and one that needs to be taken for serious consideration for the Fox Hunters next year. I think the plan is maybe if the ground's okay, he's going to go to Cheltenham. A nice spare ride for Gina to pick up with Ellie being banned, but Ellie will probably be back on board at Stratford. And he is a good horse.
Yeah, absolutely. So he, like you say, was just super, super impressive. And I thought he was one of the bankers of the evening. Having talked myself out of Gracchus Barn when we recorded with Joe. Sorry that we ditched you last week, Sam, but it was nice to record that section with Joe. He's got some.
Yeah, I honestly, I think it was 22 minutes worth of recording with Joe, and I'm going to be completely honest. That was 22 minutes I didn't need to be listening to.
You'd have found some winners if you did, Sam. Although, actually, I have to say, I'm pretty sure that your Lucky 15 did better than we did. So
he came in my Lucky 15. Barton Snow, Douglas on bottom, Music Drive, and then walking out, unfortunately, let me down. But again, another masterful ride by Gina. Don't mean to go on, but I thought Late Night Fumbled ruined her chances after about 5 or 6 fences after she keener. But she got up on the line to beat Cullen Hill. So another great finish again, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. About Barton Snow, I mean, he looked the certainty of the night for me. And I think I used the phrase, which I never want to say again, buying money. But it did seem a bit like that. He yeah, just was super impressive. Joe, when he came on the podcast a few weeks ago, told us all how much natural speed he had. If anything, it was just the danger of just making a mistake. But James King took the ride, and he'll just continue progressing. Won't it? It'd be really interesting to see where he ends up. With a horse with so much toe, like what is the natural target for in this sphere? Like if you're not a rules trainer, like what mile? We have the classics, the big sloggy classics, and then we have the hunter chases. Is he got? It's still a lot further than 2 miles at Aintree for the Fox Hunters, for example. Is there a natural peak to his season? I wonder. Probably the.
He'd have the 2 mile chase at Stratford, whether he's qualified or not. Because I do know that has a couple of odd conditions in whether he can run in that or not.
Yeah.
I don't like. I know Tiger Roll was probably quite small and didn't jump. He didn't have that much natural scope, but he got over the fences fine. He looks to have loads of speed for the Foxtons at Aintree, like you said, but it's a 2.5 mile. He needs to travel strongly, and he does just get into the boards and pop away. He doesn't do anything flashy. But obviously,
they've got Grackers to Barm in that division, so there's no taking themselves on, so.
Yeah, but no, there probably isn't really. Just have to stick to these 2 mile chases and chases. There's some at Leicester and stuff and stuff like that. But he does no matter what we say about him, he does a remarkable job with his horses.
Yeah, exactly. I was winding him up good and proper in the lead up to Cheltenham, but as you can imagine, it takes two to tango in that particular WhatsApp conversation. But I texted him.
I'm glad I'm not involved in that group.
I texted him my bet slip, which was a double of Barton Snow Music Drive after the race, and it's. I'll say no more, but as a result, I do know that he's going to Stratford again. So it will. Barton Snow will run at Stratford. So
perfect. And then another horse that's been ultra super competitive in point to points and just gone and done a bit more now. Douglas Longbottom. Biddick gave a great ride. Was kind of niggled along early, but he kept to the task well and stayed on nicely. But he's been a real progressive horse, and Bea Coward's done a fantastic job with him.
Yeah, 100%. We've mentioned Bea before. I think it's almost more impressive, and we'll come on to Gitto later, but it's almost more impressive when you've only got a couple of horses, literally 2, 3, 4s, because it's almost harder to have the infrastructure and the staff around to have a proper routine and do things to a level. It's really impressive. She's done a fantastic job with that horse. I have to say as well, it was the reminder that maybe some people needed that Will Biddick is absolutely different gravy. I don't want to blow smoke, and we've said plenty about it, but you watch that race back, he is so good. And I spoke to him the other day actually, and he was by no means sulking or whatever, but he was saying he's just not getting a lot of rides pointing. And I said, I bet people just assume, to be honest, that you're limiting the rides that you want to take, or that you might say no or whatever, or just I don't intimidate in some way to pick up the phone. But he is available to ride pointing, and I'm amazed that more people aren't taking him up, because he's one of the greatest we've ever seen in on the pointing field. So
yeah, but it's so hard when you've got a yard of horses and you've got your own jockeys that ride on a regular basis. They go in school, just because he's very, very good. But people are loyal to it, and we say there's not enough horses to go around. There's not enough horses to go around to have spares. So I was 7 years ago, so I hate to think what it's like now.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He did say that he was going to kind of wind down to a point, didn't he? In the sense that he wasn't going to go looking hard for winners to win the championship or whatever. But he's definitely ready and available to take horses and take rides on. So I just thought that was interesting, really. But
didn't you have a chat with Bea?
Yes, well reminded, Sam. I had a chat with Bea Coward, and this is what she had to say.
Bea Coward, it was fantastic to see you have a win at Cheltenham on Friday night. It must have meant a great deal to the team.
Yeah, it was a big win for our team, and my auntie owns the horse, so it was a big family party after that.
Yeah, I can imagine. No better man on board to do it than Will Biddick, but the horse has been a real project for you, I guess. And just tell, for people who don't know, just talk us through how many you've got in training, and you sort of how the year's been going.
Oh God, how many years? I don't know, but we've got 5 in training at the moment. We started with just 1, and then we've got 5. I quite like to keep it to 5. It's enough because I ride them all myself.
Yeah.
So just keep it to a nice small number that in a day I can do them all.
Yeah.
And Douglas has been a little superstar for us from the word go, really, right from last season when we first ran him.
Yeah, fantastic character. And I think you said on your interview that I'd seen somewhere that he can be a bit of a character at home, so it's quite nice when he rewards you on the track.
Yeah, he does things in his own way, but he's pretty good. I mean, his owners ride him, and they're in their 70s, so
wow, that's amazing.
He's very good.
I must have misunderstood that then. I'll take it all back, Douglas. I'll take it all back. That's great. So it's just a bit of a go off on a tangent here, but I've often been told it's quite hard to train a horse on its own, and by which I've taken to mean obviously it's kind of useful to work one with another, or just if one's a bit sticky or a bit nappy or whatever, it's quite hard to train them on their own. So it's just really interesting that you ride them all yourself. Do you literally ride them all in single lots then?
Mostly. I have my uncle come down once or twice a week, and we'll do maybe a piece of work together on the all-weather at Sutton Venie. But when they're working on the downs, they're always on their own. And I often find, like, we have a lot of the young horses over from Ireland, and they sort of don't really know what they're meant to be doing. They've just followed the one in front for a lot of it. So they come on the downs, and within a month they've grown up a lot because they've had to work by themselves, listening to me, going where we want to go rather than just follow the horse in front kind of thing. So I think it works out in the end for the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. You've got a I suppose you've got an end product that's kind of more independent in their races and can not just like say follow the one in front. Oh well, fantastic, well done, and we'll no doubt catch up with you again soon. But well done on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Sam, you're good, aren't you? You keep me on task. So, little news bulletin. We don't have a social shout out this week, so to speak, but Ruth off of Downpatrick Racecourse has been back in touch with us, Sam, on email, and she reached out last year, which we thought was great. And do you want to just talk people through what she had to say?
Yeah. So last year they obviously had the race at Downpatrick's, the Open Hunter Chase, which Luca actually went. Luca Morgan took Perfect Pirate over there. So they're doing the same again this year. So the race takes place on Friday, the 23rd of May. A massive pot of €17,500, and they're offering the subsidy for any horse travelling from mainland UK for the race. So anyone interested in that, look up the entries and get entered and go over. I'm sure Luke will speak positively about it. I spoke to him before about it and how much fun he had over there. Get over there if you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big party, really.
Yeah, just for the crack.
Yeah.
So we will move on to talk about pointing before long, but let's stick with Hunter Chasing for a minute. I took a bit of a swing on Viraflay at Punchestown. Just thought that Olive might do what Olive's been doing and just like tear it apart from the front, and might just slightly catch them out with some unconventional tactics. You know how they like to kind of do things slightly differently in Ireland in terms of the pace, etc. I thought if Olive rides him like she did at Kempton, she might just nick this. And I backed him, and it looked very, very good for a very long time. Derek O'Connor had the nous to think, actually, we can't let this go, and just kicked. It's on the line into action from a good way out, and she just got collared. But again, enterprising move from Olive to take him there, and it very nearly paid off.
Yeah, he's been a remarkable horse for us. She's done a great job training him this season. He's not the easiest horse in the world, but riding and training him, she's done a great job. And I thought she nicked it for a long way actually. But Derek knew exactly what he was doing, and it was a good race. Hollow Games back in third and on the ropes in fourth. So good race with only 5 completing. So fair play to her for taking the chance. He's a good horse going forward. Him and Music Drive could be 2 horses for the big Cheltenham Festival race next March.
I actually thought, Sam, let's just cover off another one of our weekly inverted commas features, I thought that could have actually been the ride of the weekend on Vera Flay, but I think it's going to have to be tied with Gina on Late Night Fumble and Never Say Die ride. She's so strong in the finish, isn't she? And look, you've got to have the horse, and it was incredibly tenacious, but it was a great ride from Gina as well.
Yeah, and the fact the horse it's done a leg and had a foal in the last time it saw a racecourse. So training, riding, feet. I think that was pretty remarkable as well.
Okay, yeah, you've convinced me. Ride of the weekend goes to Gina. Just felt boring, but is what it is. So let's go pointing, baby. What's been happening where?
You tell me. What's been happening?
So, Dingley, Jenny Owen is on a remarkable strike rate of 52%, and Aramax and Ragnar Lodbrok added to that. Ragnar Lodbrok's the Caroline and Gerald Bailey's horse, is it not?
Yeah, that's it. The Whiskey and Water partnership. Yeah, that was a novice riders level, a novice riders race ridden by Connell Kavanagh. So obviously a lad they've found out, and fair play to them. He's Ragnar Lodbrok. He's had his own ideas sometimes, but yeah, he won the the novice riders race there. And yeah, as you say, 2 winners for them. Chadwick winner on Aramax in the Open. That was looks like the Fernie 4 miler. So that was good. Over 4 miles. So yeah, Larry back in second. But yeah.
You joking? The 4 milers over 4 miles. Mental.
4 miler is over 4 miles. You couldn't write it.
Wow.
But yes, 52% strike rate. Obviously, James Owen, he can train. Well, James Owen doesn't train these. Jenny trains them. Sorry, but the yard can train Arabs, flat horses, juveniles, jumpers, whatever. Yeah, fair play to the yard. They're going great guns, and yeah, long may it continue.
Is Jenny a vet?
Yes.
Yeah. It's got to be a massive help to anyone training, isn't it?
Well, it's a lot cheaper anyway, I suppose.
It is, but no, just for doing I don't know, obviously you got to send them off, but just doing routine bloods and stuff or scoping them or whatever, it's just got to be a massive help. I feel like we've given Jenny Owen a hard time on this podcast for absolutely no reason, because we're just doing that thing where, there's a massively successful yard and we're sort of sneering slightly at the fact that someone's wife, in inverted commas, is training. Well, hang on. Someone's wife, not in inverted commas, someone's wife is training in inverted commas.
Yeah.
But let's get that straight. Definitely his wife. But there's training full stop takes the team, doesn't it? And it's often done in pairs. And we've got absolutely no idea how involved she actually is in training these horses. So maybe we should just get back in our box until we know different. But obviously she's talented and bright if she's a vet. So let's give her some credit, Sam. Yeah.
Right, both of us put together, I'd say.
So Eiton, any notable winners?
Well, Eiton today, your friend who, he's going great guns, isn't he?
Oh, yes. I thought you'd never ask.
Gitto.
Oh, Gitto. It's funny. It's funny, really. Like, I think I've not really told the whole story, but I randomly met Gitto through a very kind invitation from Dan Chairman down to the puppy show. And he's a fair character, but we hit it off, and we talk quite a lot, it's fair to say, about horses. He's absolutely mad about them, and you can hear my conversation with him earlier on today now.
Gitto, Neil Gittins to his non-friends. In fact, everyone calls you Gitto, don't they?
Even my dad calls me Gitto.
So it's been
I've been called a lot worse.
Yeah, exactly, including by our friend, our podcast co-host Sam, who actually tells me to send his.
Is that the big lad? Is that the big lad that does the driving? Your driver, you mean?
Yeah, this is why you've not been on yet, the Gitto.
I did hold back. I didn't call him Fat Sam.
No, you didn't. No, because he's not. Anyway, no, you're going to regret saying that, because
he's doing really well, isn't he? I saw him the other day walk past a sweet shop, and I congratulated him.
You are awful. Anyway, he knows you're joking, and he gives it as good as he gets. But actually, regrettably, I have to inform you, he said to me to pass on his sincere congratulations, because he thought you were a moon man, but actually, to get this horse to win, to go from a maiden horse to winning a mixed open, you must be able to actually train. So that's something. High praise indeed.
And he's only 5, Ben. He's only a 5-year-old.
Yeah. So talk me through it, just very briefly, because I know you like to whittle on, but in a whistle-stop manner, how did you come to get the horse? And tell me how you've got so far with him in such a short space of time.
Well, very, 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 very quickly. Bumped into Dave Footer on the road from Yorton Stud, and
that must have hurt.
I was, he's almost as big as Sam. I said to him, look, we're looking for the boys looking for a pointer. Sound like Aiden there, don't I? The boys looking for a pointer, and he said, well, I've got one. I was going to go to France actually to look at one, and he said, well, I think I might have one, and so my jockey Sankey and myself slipped off to Dan Skelton's to have a look at a 4-year-old that to me was a nice model, very weak, and the form was good enough. He got a couple of placings in 2-mile hurdles, and we thought, well, if he stays, he'd be okay. So we give him a go, and then we won with him first time out last year at Eighton, and he's had 6 runs this time, and he's won 4. So
pretty impressive.
We can't be happier, really.
And he's been beaten by Barton Snow, and who's the other one?
Got beaten by Barton Snow first time out. Barton Snow's gone on and looks a very smart horse. And then we went to Lark Hill in a race that I think is probably the best restricted that's been run this year. There was a lot of winners, so I think 9 winners in that race going into it. And I think the 4 of them crossed the line all within 2 lengths of each other. You couldn't hardly split them. And I think Quarter was 3rd. That obviously came out and won. Barton Snow's form looks good, very good.
Who won the Lark Hill race? I can't remember. Can you remember?
James King was running it. I can't remember.
Fine. But yeah, like you say, Quarter in 3rd, and he's come out and won at Cheltenham since. So anyone looking at this from the outside Gitto would say, well, he's chanced upon a very, very good horse, and he's been very, very lucky. But the fly in the ointment of that particular argument levelled against you is that you've also managed to get a couple of wins out of Blag the Bookies, which no one else had really managed to do.
We blagged Blag to win a couple, yeah.
You tricked the trickster. I like it.
He was a bit of a challenge to start with. I think when I saw him at night, there was a big lanky ginger chap leading him round.
Was it you or me that had the dodgy ribs that day? I think it was you, wasn't it? Yeah, that's why I was leading.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah. So you leading around me, and I thought, Jesus, God, he's so fat.
Who, me?
No, it's not. We called him Sam for a few days.
Will you leave the poor lad alone?
He can't answer for himself.
This is like asking me to pick between mum and dad. You two be 2 of my best mates, and you just need to knock it off. Take it back live on air. He's not fat. Is Sam fat or not?
I'm taking it all back.
Good. I'm beginning to think you've got a bit of a fat complex, to be honest, because you call the Sam fat, the horse fat. Everyone's fat and you're right. Yeah, maybe so.
So the horse was definitely fat. And he didn't try a yard. And then we went, I can't remember where we went next. We went Northumberland or something. And then he sort of did put it in a bit that day and finished 5th. And then we took him to Chaddersley, and then he did the same at Chaddersley, didn't want to go. And then there's the notorious weekend where we went to your part of the world. We went over to
Brocklesby,
and slapped the guy around in the morning in the changing room, sobered him up, legged him up, and I don't think he counted how many laps he'd done, because he went a bit early, like a lap and a half early. He knew where the finishing line was. The horse actually ran a blinder and was obviously beaten by the very good horse. What's the name of the horse? 4th of the Fox Hunters. He actually showed us a little bit that day. Then we went to Lark Hill. He was second in a 2.5 miler because it was a race for the conditions of the race were very good, even though it was over 2.5. The ground was fabulous there that day. Got beaten 2 legs that day, and then he won at Bangor comfortably, and then he ran brilliantly at Eighton the last meeting, and then stupidly we decided to go to Cheltenham and run him in the 4 miler, and it all fell apart a bit that day. But
but what an experience to end the season. What's been a very, very good season. So I think Sam told me that you'd had something like 12 runners and 5 winners or something like that. It's nearly 50.
It's something like that. Yeah,
it's a pretty good strike rate, Gitto. Pretty good strike rate.
Somebody rang me the other day and said, "I thought you were only doing it for a bit of fun." And I said, "Yeah, but the fun bit's the winning bit, isn't it?"
Great answer. Great answer. Send them all to Gitto. You heard it here first. If I had one to send you, Neil, I would, but I don't. So, actually, I've got a 48 rated flat handicap. Would you like that?
What are we running it in? How small is it?
We're going to take it to the 4 miler.
14.2. We could take it to Haydock Pony Race.
Yeah, maybe so. Sadly not. He's a big lad. Anything else we need to cover off before we leave it there? You're going to have to come on and do a full episode, actually, because the idea of you and Sam sparring for an hour is quite entertaining to me, if no one else.
you bank and Ben.
Yeah, correct. Oh,
no, I don't think we've got anything else to cover.
Lovely to have you on at long last. And long may your success continue. But no, but seriously though, like, you know, and I know you're a pal and we've bigged you up plenty on the show, but it is a fair achievement to come from not training any to, look, I've had to go at it myself. I'm like, yes, you've got to have the horses, but you've got to find them and buy them at the right money as well. So congratulations, mate.
These are both bought at the right money, which is also brilliant, and a shout out to the owners who the 3 o'clock Fox Syndicate, all proper hunting farmers. It's the enjoyment for the small syndicate putting in little money to buy one. I cannot tell you the enjoyment and the anticipation and the excitement they get from this horse. It's absolutely sensational. And again with Isla, who is on she's had 20 rides and 5 wins on 20 rides and 5 wins now. And
that's fair going as well, isn't it?
That's brilliant going. I mean, but you want to see this kid ride. I mean, she may not. I know early on in the season, somebody gave her a bit of stick about not being the tidiest, but this is an amateur sport. If you want to follow her cross country around the South Shropshire country or the United country, make sure you're sat on a machine.
Bring a seatbelt. It would be my advice.
Yeah, bring a seatbelt, airbag, because she's pretty sensational.
Well, they've levelled that accusation at you before, so if you'd say that, she must be fairly handy.
Yeah, she's decent, mate.
You don't have to tell me. Anyway, lovely to speak to you, and we'll catch up with you again soon. But well done on a brilliant season.
No problem. Cheers, Ben. Thanks.
God, that was interesting, Ben. You two don't have to go on, don't you? Jesus.
You should hear us before 8 a.m. most mornings with a coffee.
I can just imagine. God, painful. But yeah, going back to Saturday, Fleet Park, massive day for the championship. Kilfillan Woods, again, Clara Brewer seemed to keep the ride. Up the Kilfillan. Yeah, Clara Brewer seemed to keep the ride on him. Luckily for Zach, he can't ride in the Ladies Open, but there we go. And he won again for her, so that's added to her tally, which is great for her. And then a big day for Josh as well. Training 2 winners, riding one of them. James King also kicking in the winner for Luke Price. So I think we made it 3 winners for Luke Price over the weekend, including today. So very good. It's good. It looks like it's going to go down to the wire, I think. James and Josh 42-40, close. Josh and Jimmy.
Hey Sam, Claxon championship alert. Claxon, give us an update.
What sounds it?
That making noise? Well, that broke my computer.
That's awful.
Yeah, go on. championship update. Go for it.
I've actually got to add one on, actually. James is now on 43, Josh on 40 for the men's trainers. Josh is on 37, Gene's on 35. Don't think they had any winners as we are speaking on Monday. Trained.
No.
But Gina did have a winner in the restricted as well. So maybe I should look at updating that before I actually start talking about it.
Yeah, it usually does help, but it's the effort that counts, Sam. So well done. It's more than I did.
Yeah, well, we're nearly there. It's close anyway.
Yeah. You could throw a blanket over them, as they say at the minute, and it'd be interesting to see what happens. So we need to make an apology, Sam. You need to make an apology, Sam.
Well, I didn't know that on the notes of the sheet it says apology and a question mark. I don't think I need to apologise.
Do you want to clarify something, Sam?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that it is the rider's job when weighing out to make sure they're carrying the right weight. So for that race, it had confusing conditions.
What race? What are you talking about?
The race of Ed Vaughan when he weighed out at the incorrect rate and then won the race, but he should have been carrying £5 extra because he was not a novice rider.
Okay.
So confusing enough for everyone.
Worst apology. Just FYI, it's the worst apology I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, it wasn't meant to be one. And so Ed Vaughan should have. It's his responsibility to make sure he carries the right weight, whether it's correct in the race card or not. Because obviously, if a jockey isn't jocked up in that race, they will put in a certain weight. Whereas Ed should have then said, "I'm not a novice rider, so I should be carrying £5 more." But if I was Ed,
if he's aware of that rule, but he should be. But if he's aware,
yeah. And if I was Ed and I thought I'd get away with it, no one noticing, I'll give it a go. So there we go.
Yeah.
There needs to be a better way to do it.
The point I've had made to me by several people is you can't blame Weatherbees because they didn't know which jockey was going to ride the horse. Apart from apparently he was jocked up at this point of entry. So
yeah. But then if you do it for one horse, who's got a jockey jocked up and another horse who hasn't, it gets a bit confusing. So I do understand that.
Yeah, fine.
But I do still think it's a stupid way of doing it.
Yeah. Any other business, Sam? I think we've got to the point of any other business, which is rapid, doesn't it?
It does. We've spoken to Neil, nicely spoken to Bea, and I think we discussed Gina being rider of the week, didn't we? Did she win that one?
Yeah, she did. Do you want to put a phone call into her, Sam? Your old pal, Gina.
I think it's about time you gave Gina a call. So here's Ben's conversation with Gina.
So Gina, finally, Sam lets me talk to you. He's always hogging you. It's no fair. It's not fair, is it? But we thought we'd have a little chat in relation to late night fumble at Cheltenham. Look, I mean, you've had a lot to celebrate this year, and it's going, from strength to strength. But there must be a completely different level of satisfaction when it's one that you've bred originally, and you've had her involved. She's had injury issues, and she comes back and wins like that on the first time of asking. Like, it must be hugely satisfying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She was the one. If I could have picked any without upsetting anyone else, if I could have picked one of them to win on Friday night, it would have been her. Just because of everything that's happened with her, and we'd always thought a hell of a lot of her. I thought before she got hurt, she would perhaps be better than Late Night Pass, but that's obviously not going to happen now. But I've always thought an awful lot of her.
Yeah, and it was her attitude. I mean, you were, you'd be delighted to know of all the things you've won this year. You've also won Ride of the Week on the podcast, which is a huge prize. But you're obviously very strong in the finish. But the horse just did it. You were matching each other's level of enthusiasm, if you know what I mean. She just put her head down and fought, and that must be one of the most pleasing aspects of it, because you can't really teach that.
Well, no, exactly, and you like you said, you couldn't knock her enthusiasm. Sort of, I had an interview before the race, and they sort of were asking me what my chances were on her, and I basically said her pulling too hard will be the thing that gets her beat, basically. And she did her utmost best to to do that, to be honest.
You're getting form for horses pulling you around Cheltenham and still winning anyway. Can you remember Master Templar last year?
Yeah, I know. She was just obviously extremely fresh and well, and was very pleased to be back at the races, which is great. Like, because obviously you never know how they're going to come back from, one, an injury, and two, having a foal is it's a pretty big thing, and they quite often don't return the same, but she clearly has.
Yeah. It'd be really interesting whether there's any stats on that. I remember having a conversation ages ago from Chris Dawson. He had a mare who put in foal or got in foal to the man next door's cob or whatever, and she came back and won loads on the bounce. And obviously there's that high profile grey mare that I can't remember her name, Snow something or other, who's done the same. So it'd be really interesting to know like whether it can improve a mare as well as making them. But obviously when they do have a bit of time off, it must have been a lot of work to bring her back to full fitness, and massively satisfying result.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said in my interview before as well, like Jack's obviously a huge part of our team now, and he put an awful lot of work into her, and she obviously hasn't been easy. Having a foal and having a leg aren't the only problems that she's had. And we ended up not being able to really gallop her at all in the end. She just literally did all of her work on the deep sand. Wow. So and I think she had one away day at Guilsborough, which was before the festival, which was quite a long time ago, and then obviously it's just been so dry ever since. We've just not been able to get her anywhere else. So
yeah, and I assume it's credit to Cheltenham that you trusted them enough with the ground to try it first time out on that sort of surface.
Yeah, we've obviously had runners there the last few years now, and they've always done a really good job. Getting the ground safe for us. Obviously last year it was very wet because of the weather, but extreme years, I think, and full credit to them for getting it right for us amateurs.
Yeah, good stuff. Gina, the one more question. Obviously the ladies' title's sewn up, but it has been for quite a few years now. Izzy's perhaps done you a favour being injured for a bit of this year, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the trainers' title. Am I right in thinking that probably means more to you anyway, given that your name's now on the ticket, so to speak, and you've won the ladies' riders so many times anyway?
Yeah, I think so. It would be nice to get that back, but we're running out of ammunition, to be honest, and we don't tend to risk them on good to firm unless we really have to. So I fear we might be losing the battle with that one, but we'll keep tipping away, and we've got a few runners again this weekend, and we still got a few more to go at, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, nice one. Nice to talk to you, Gina, and we'll catch up soon. Jack Wilmot, how you getting on?
Yeah, very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks. I've hijacked the best ride part of the podcast where Sam and me concluded that we probably ought to give it to Gina for her ride on Late Night Fumble, but it's got to be a shared accolade because your ride on Hung Jury at Cheltenham on Friday was a thing of beauty. It must have been amazing to win on that sort of a stage.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Like, sure, everybody says it, but it really is like a childhood dream come true to have a winner at Cheltenham.
I can imagine, yeah. And there's a big old crowd in there. I've heard 7,000 people in there. So it must have, as much as it perhaps wasn't the roar of a festival, it must have been pretty atmospheric coming up the straight.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Like it doesn't really sink in. Like obviously had a good battle up the home straight, and but sure, the moment you pulled out, you can hear them, and it was great. Like obviously working for Max in the area, meeting all my friends go to and stuff, and my family came down as well. So yeah, it was a really special day.
And a lot of people seem to get a kick out of that horse winning. Obviously, it's with Station Yard originally, and now with Martin Keeley. You've given it a peach or a ride. He was in front jumping the last, but we've seen plenty of people jump the last in front and still get chinned. And great ride from Sean O'Connor as well. It gave a really good finish to the race, but he dug deep for you when it mattered.
He did, yeah. He's I just kept him quite wide. I spoke to James King beforehand, and he said when he rode him with Chadsley, kept him wide. Like he wouldn't be the biggest fan of other horses, so he does, like I rode him last season pointing, and he can have the tendency of not really traveling for you. But I think the switch to under rules, a couple of runs over hurdles, has really sharpened him up, and even I couldn't believe how well he was traveling, especially turning in, in the whole way. And I'm just jumping the last, thinking, surely not, and yeah, he just, we got headed, not far from home, and we both dig deep, and fair play to the horse, because he got his head back in front.
Yeah, well, fair play to you. I think you advertise your talents really well for, on the big screen, so to speak. And I was watching it from home, as thousands of other people would have been, and would have seen that. I'd have been impressed. And I know the pundits on the night commented on it as well. For people who don't know, just tell us a little bit about your journey so far into pointing, and what you're doing at the moment, and what your hopes are for the season, I guess.
Yeah, so this is it's my 4th season pointing now. Got my point to point and amateur license when I turned 16. I was based with Sarah Humphrey, riding out for her from a very young age, and I stayed with her for 2 seasons. Had a fantastic time there, and she taught me practically everything I know. And I was lucky enough to have a couple of rides on the flat for her, and she actually gave me my first winner under rules on my first ride at Market Raisin over 3 years ago now.
They always say it's a bit cursed when that happens.
Well, I hadn't had a winner under rules. I hadn't had a winner under rules until last Friday, so it was a long 3 years anyway. But after being with Sarah, I got the opportunity to go and have the amateur job at John Joe O'Neill's. And that was, I learned so much there, just riding out with all the other jockeys, and how many people are there, the head lads and John Joe himself. Had a few rides for John Joe. They kindly gave me a horse, the Composer, who won on last season at Cocklebarrow.
Yes.
And I just kind of felt like my time was kind of up there. And Max had always been very supportive of me since I moved down to this area a couple of years ago, and the opportunity arose to come here, and that Ellen was still going to have a few pointers and he was going under rules, so I thought it was a smart move, and I'm absolutely loving it. Max is so supportive, and had my first ride for him under rules yesterday at Worcester. So hopefully onwards and upwards from here. Now I've got my Category B license.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, don't have too many winners, because we'd like to still see you between the flags. But we do wish you all the best.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think I've got one more until my novice has gone now. But it's I'm obviously not going to turn down a winner if it comes my way before the end of the season. But it'd be handy to go into next season as a novice as well, I suppose. But sure, we'll just have to wait and see what comes.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, Jack, it's great to have you on, and thanks for your time. But we'll speak to you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you very much.
No problem. Cheers, Jack.
Yeah, bye-bye. So
there you have it, Sam. A nice rattle through some bits and bobs. Where are we racing this weekend?
Nice. Only 4 meetings across the weekend, which is nice. Might see a few more.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. See if that works. Amazing what might happen if they only have 4 meetings, eh? Madness.
Well, it'll be good to unraceable in places at most, I'd say. So
yeah, they're doing a good job at watering, so let's not knock them. But
Kingston Brown's on the list. I take it back, Alan. I take it back.
And Charlton Park, very good track for watering.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, you are. Back in your box. Holnicut Saturday, Charlton Park. Sunday up Cross Sunday and Kingston Blount Sunday. I might go to Kingston on Sunday, actually. Oh no, I'm not. I'm at Badminton. Oh, bugger.
What, for another week?
No, this weekend.
Oh, but it's only Monday.
Yeah, I'm here all week.
What, including the next weekend?
This weekend coming, yeah. It starts on Wednesday, finishes on Sunday, mate.
Oh, right. So what are you doing there now?
Setting up the tent. I've told you how many times.
Wow. You're going to lose your marbles staying there for a whole week.
I'm losing them, mate.
Yeah. It's a long... you look very much like the man at the end of a camping holiday, not at the start.
Hey, what? My camera. Why does my camera look so much better?
It must be the lighting in your house. Anyway, the listeners don't need to hear this. So it's been great. It's been great. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll catch up with you, no doubt, a good few times throughout the week. I hope your boss Morris isn't listening, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, lovely job. I hope I haven't upset anyone this week. Try my best.
I think you should try harder to upset a few people, to be honest. We get some more.
I agree. Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Right,
Cheers, see you.
Ciao.
You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.